ladies and gentlemen, of all the events we hold on campus each year, to me this one represents both the dedication of our students and the dedication of you, our generous donors, in creating a better world through education. Over 85% of our students receive some sort of financial aid. Without you, the donors, those students would have to defer their dreams, work extra jobs to make ends meet, and simply never get the chance to succeed here at UMass Dartmouth. So while we are here primarily to recognize the scholarship recipients, I'd also like to welcome and thank all of you, our donors, for all that you have done on our behalf. Our Master of Ceremonies for today will be graduating in May with a Bachelor's of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Zach is the outgoing president of UMass Dartmouth's chapter of Engineers Without Borders and has traveled to Panama to partner with residents of the village of Valle La Perlas in the creation of a working water distribution system. In 2014, Zach was the recipient of the Sean Duarte Memorial Scholarship and completed an accompanying summer internship at CDM Smith. In March, Zach was offered and accepted a full-time role with CDM Smith, and he'll begin working in the Providence office in September. Please join me in welcoming RMC, Zach Aronson.
First, I would like to introduce Peyton Randolph Helm. He took office as interim chancellor of the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth on March 15, 2016. Prior to joining UMass Dartmouth, Dr. Helm served for 12 years as the president of Muhlenberg College in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Chancellor Helm earned his bachelor's degree in archaeology from Yale University. He earned his doctoral degree in ancient history, specializing in ancient Greek and Near Eastern history and literature from the University of Pennsylvania. Can you please help me welcome Chancellor Helm?
We have 46 scholarship donors who were scheduled to be here. I'm not sure how many made it through, but for those of you who did, thank you for being here. And we have 40 scholarship recipients who were supposed to be here. And for those of you who could make it, we're glad you're here because you're what today is all about. I have been learning a lot over the past 2.5 weeks. I'm now in my 3rd week at UMass Dartmouth. Every time I learn something new about this place, I get more and more impressed and more privileged to be here. And it is quite a change from the other institutions that I have been a part of during my life. And I've been part of a number of institutions. But it has this unusual combination of the pragmatic, the intellectual, the pragmatic intellectual, the arts, engineering, nursing. These are, arts and sciences, the liberal arts. This is a place that can open doors to anything. Any field of endeavor, any field of inquiry, the wealth of the human experience and what mankind has created over the millennia, it's all available here. And then this is what makes this special. You could say that about a lot of colleges and universities. What makes it special is it makes that available to first-generation students, to students who qualify, who come from families that qualify for Pell Grants, which means they have a lot of financial need. And it's not just the Pell Grants, because if you know anything about Pell Grants, they're a good start, but they don't solve the whole problem. And the people who have donated scholarships to this institution have provided that much needed difference. The difference between what people can get from Pell Grants, what they and their families might be able to put together, and what it takes to have access to a first-class education in any field of endeavor that they are destined to pursue. That's an amazing thing. I've said, and some of you may have heard me say it, even though I've only been here 2.5 weeks, this is going to be the second time I talked about the importance of scholarships and financial aid. The last time was last week at the William McGinnis Center for Marketing Research. And what I said on that occasion is something I've said before, but I believe it's so important and it's so true that I hope you don't get tired of hearing it, because it is something I feel very, very strongly about. This country, as a democracy, promises that young men and women who have talent and who are willing to work will have opportunity. Doesn't guarantee success, doesn't guarantee wealth, doesn't guarantee happiness, but it does guarantee opportunity. That's the promise we make as a democracy, and we should make it, and we say we make it, to all of our citizens. Today we know that opportunity is accessed through education. And if we close the doors of our colleges and universities, and they're only open to those who come from families that can afford the cost of an excellent higher education, we're breaking the promise of democracy that is fundamental to our vision of what we are as a society. Now, this little sermon of mine might be better directed to those who haven't given scholarships, so that they could go away and feel that they haven't been holding up their end and they're undermining democracy, and perhaps they should feel ashamed of themselves, although that's not a very effective fundraising strategy in my experience. To make people feel ashamed of themselves just doesn't seem to motivate generosity. But that isn't my point, although that would be an interesting experiment to try, is to have a lunch for people who hadn't given scholarships. We'd have to have a lot bigger room. But I'm really speaking to those who have. Those of you who are here, those of you who couldn't make it. Because you get this. You understand it, and you've actually done something about it. And so I want to thank you. And I know that our students, you'll be hearing from students, I think, they'll want to thank you in their own way. Not just for what you've done for them individually, but for what you're doing for this university and for our society. Because, believe it or not, what you do through these scholarships is an important part of keeping the American dream alive. So that's what I have to say. Nobody ever complained that one of my speeches was too short, and I hope that nobody's going to complain this one was too long. That's what I wanted to share with you today. It's really a privilege to be here. And by the way, for those of you who are not students, having lunch with students is one of the best tonics you can ever have. So I hope when you leave here, you will feel as good as I always do after I sit down and get to talk to students. So thanks again. I feel so welcomed here. I'm delighted to be here. And Jack, thanks for asking me to say a few words. Jack and Zach, thank you.
Thank you for your words. Next, I'd like to introduce Donald Wood. He's especially close to my major, as he was a civil engineering graduate as well. Donald is an engineering and mathematics instructor who is taught at UMass Dartmouth, BMC Derby High School, and currently teaches at Bristol Community College. Over the course of 20 years, Donald received study grants from Boston College, Boston University, Eastern Nazarene, University of Maine, and Rutgers University. Outside of serving on the UMass Dartmouth Alumni Board, Donald and his wife Sandra have established 3 scholarships to help civil engineering students in the pursuit of their degree because he feels strongly about giving back. Can you help me and introduce Donald?
I want to tell you that I graduated from high school in 1947. Due to circumstances beyond my control, family had problems, and I wasn't able to go to college. I loved math, and I loved engineering. I was immediately put to work, and because of my background in high school with math and chemistry, they put me in a laboratory of controlled manufacturing. It had to do with textiles and rubber. I was heartbroken. We didn't have at the time scholarships. But I attended night school at the campus in Fall River, 1947. In September, I walked in and said, I want an education in the evening college. They were very, very good to me. I spent 4 years going to school nights and working during the day to help my family. I had no choice. I was the oldest one, and I had younger siblings that had to be taken care of. I stayed there for quite some time, and then I did receive a night school diploma in chemistry. This was the beginning of my search for my education. I kept going nights, and there happened to be a professor that was teaching a course after I received my diploma, and I wanted to go back and continue my education at Bradford Jaffe. And he got me interested in higher math. His name was Dr. Samuel Stone, who, in my heart, has been one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. In the evening course that he was teaching, he saw that I had a command for mathematics and engineering. And he spoke to me about attending day school. I said, I can't. I have to work. And he made it his business to find out who the man I was working for at the rubber textile company I was working at. And he called him, and he did something that was before any scholarships. He spoke to the man that was the chief chemist and said, this young boy is good at math and is good at what he's doing. He said, could we work something out? Could we have him work days, go to school days, and work nights? Well, they worked it out. It was a difficult path for me to follow, but I did go to school during the day, and I did work nights and weekends, and I did finally get my degree in civil structural engineering and mathematics. I did go to work as a design engineer, but my mind, right from the very beginning, I want to give back. I want to be a teacher. And I applied for scholarships all over. And I was pretty proud of myself. I came back after a few years and I spoke to Dr. Stone and I said, I'd like to go back to school again. He immediately made arrangements with the university here that I became a teaching assistant and I did get my degree in mathematics, which is what I wanted very much. Since that day, I have taught, passed my knowledge on to young people that want to be engineers or mathematicians and so forth. And I am very proud about what I have done. 6 members of my family have graduated from the University of Mass. And I'm so proud of that. And my grandson, our grandson, is now a student in the engineering department. What else? This is extremely important. I have a very feeling for this university and what they did for me. This to me is a celebration of excellence for the students who received their scholarships, for the donors who give so generously, and for the university itself that I love very much. I wish you all would feel the same way. And I want to say this to all: peace, love, and respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Donald. Very inspired by those words. I would next like to introduce Diane LaFlemme. Diane is a retired educator who worked with in the Foxborough Public School System for many years as a teacher and counselor. She has earned a Bachelor's of Arts in English and a Master's of Arts in Psychology. After retiring, Diane earned a master's degree in theology at Boston College. She is currently a member of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps and works with the homeless in Brockton and volunteers at our sister school in Berkeley. She serves on the foundation board at UMass Dartmouth as well. Could you please help me welcome Diane?
Hi. I don't know if I can follow your speech with such passion, but I really enjoyed listening to you. You Professor. Well. As I prepared to talk about why I had set up a scholarship in my father's name at UMass Dartmouth, my father was Professor Alfie LeBlanc. I realized that the decision to give this scholarship was his and not mine. I decided on the scholarship, and he decided where. A couple of weeks before he died, I told him that I intended to set up a scholarship in his name. And since he couldn't speak at the time, I listed a variety of schools. He clearly indicated that he wanted the scholarship to be at this university. Alfie had devoted most of his career to this institution, and he was proud to be a member of the faculty. He began as a professor of accounting at Durfee Tech in 1962. And during his tenure, just a little history lesson, Durfee Tech merged with New Bedford Tech, then became Southeastern Massachusetts University. Southeastern Massachusetts Technical Institute. Then Southeastern Massachusetts University, and now UMass. Alfie became chairman of the business department and retired from the university in 1987. My dad was a quiet, patient, and gentle man and a student-centered teacher. He saw the positive in everyone and everything, and understood the importance of the university to the life of the surrounding communities. He was not even critical of the architecture, as many people were at the time. He felt that at least people would know that there was a university in their backyard. To see it. Alfie's story was not unlike the stories of many of the people who have attended and attend UMass Dartmouth. He was raised in poverty, in a family broken up by the death of a father. in a family divided by economic hardship, in a family forced into socioeconomic migration. These early years forged his character, and he emerged as a model of love, kindness, and strength with a strong commitment to his family, faith, and community. No one in his family had ever attended college, but Alfie had a curious mind, and he was always looking forward. As a World War II vet, the GI Bill offered him the opportunity for higher education, and he took it. As our previous speaker, he was married, raising a family, and working when he began his college career. He knew firsthand the daily challenges that his students faced, and he extended himself to help them. The scholarship is about more than money. It's about passing on values, the values that Alfie lived, the values of learning, commitment, generosity, and integrity. Though he could not express it at the time, I think he chose to give this scholarship to UMass so that young men and women with stories similar to his own would have the opportunity to learn and grow and pass on their talents and treasures to others. Thanks.
I'd like to introduce some students now. First off, Melissa Massey, a recipient of the Shaka Ali Scholarship, the Alumni Association Scholarship, the Mary Morley Crepo Hyde Sellers Scholarship, the Ayuko Aitil Scholarship, and the Hoff Family Scholarship. Can you help me welcome Melissa Massey?
Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Massey, and I'm a senior here at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth. This spring, I will receive my bachelor's bachelor's degree in textile design and fiber arts, as well as a minor in jewelry metals. When I was asked to speak at the scholarship luncheon, I thought it would be a relatively simple thing to stand before all of you here and explain how essential the assistance that I have received has been to achieving my goals and staying in college. And I started thinking about the challenges that I faced in my life, both as I grew up and in adulthood, and as I reflected on these things, and the amount of negative people, the horrific experiences, I felt overwhelmed. The challenges are constant. It's how we overcome these challenges that strengthens and forms us into exceptional people. I can tell you by my experiences that every person that helps someone else may not feel like they're making a difference, but they are. One of the ways I give back is to routinely volunteer in my community. And this is something that I started with Mary Zahn back at BCC, Bristol Community College. And I have continued to devote my time here with Deirdre Healy, the office of the Ledoux Center for Civic Engagement. And that's here at UMass Dartmouth. And J.R.R. Tolkien once wrote, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. Well, I am small. And I have been able to enrich the lives of many others. And that's because you all enabled me to change my future. And as I continue my journey in the world, I will forever remember the encouragement I received from everyone here at UMass Dartmouth and the generous support from our Alumni Association. And I would like to express my gratitude for all of the assistance that I have received and for the opportunity to tell you how grateful I am. I cannot possibly thank you all enough.
Thank you for your beautiful and kind words, Melissa. Next, I would like to introduce my friend, Joseph Villanueva. He is a recipient of the Robert J. Fisher Memorial Scholarship, and can you help me welcome him to the podium, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Ialuna, and I've had the great honor in being selected as one of your student speakers today. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. After all, that is why we're all here, right? Every student in this room who received a scholarship was given an opportunity. And every donor in this room has given a student a newfound opportunity that they may not have had before. I believe it is fair to speak on behalf of every student who received a scholarship today, and I say thank you to all the donors in this room. This May 13th at 1:30 p.m., I am proud to say that I will be graduating with my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, which is exactly 39 days away. But who's counting? Throughout my time here at UMass Dartmouth, I have been lucky enough to have received numerous opportunities to better myself personally, socially, and academically. I am currently Vice President of the Student Nurses Association on campus, the Southeast and Cape Regional Chair for the Massachusetts State Board of Student Nurses, Event Coordinator for Dance Marathon, a Science and Engineering tutor, and a resident assistant in the upperclassmen halls. In addition, I've had the opportunity to travel to Ponta Delgado in the Azores as part of a student exchange trip. Throughout my involvement in these organizations, I've had the chance to give back to various communities. Through the Student Nurses Association, I've had the chance to attend breast cancer walks, Relay for Life, clothing and can drives, and much more. Through Dance Marathon, I was able to be a part of an amazing group that has helped raise to date over $20,000 for patients at Boston Children's Hospital. While being an RA, I have made countless personal and professional connections and was able to host over 40 programs these past 3 years for residential students. While being a nursing tutor, I've had the chance to help students get through some of the hardest and most demanding times as a student. And lastly, through my travels to the Azores, I was able to complete research on deportees through a program named Bridging the Atlantic. I'm proud of all that I have accomplished, but I could not have completed all of that if it were not for the donors in this room. I come from a middle-class, hard-working family. My mother is American-born, attended 2 years of community college, while my father, who migrated from Sicily, struggled to assimilate to the American culture upon his arrival, and he didn't even finish high school, much less college. My father is now a Mason and works very hard at what he does in order to be the breadwinner and provide for our family. Now, my family consists of myself, my parents, and my sister, who herself attended 2 years of community college. Now, the fact that my father did not attend college does not make him uneducated. In fact, he's one of the smartest men I know, and I've learned an enormous amount from him. And as a young boy, I couldn't help but notice that in middle school, my dad was able to help me with math, history, and science. He left the English to my mother. And I never really thought anything of it. And as I got older and progressed into high school, I noticed more and more that my father, who had 0 college experience, was just as capable as many adults who had 4 years or more of college. And I always wondered to myself, gee, this guy is smart. Why does he do physical, manual, hard labor for a living? There has to be other things he can do that pay better, and he can work a little bit less. So when I was applying to and visiting colleges 4 very short years ago, I asked what I had never really asked my father before. I asked him, why didn't you attend college? Why didn't you finish high school? And he gave me the simplest answer I could have asked for. He said he didn't know. He said he didn't have the opportunities that we had. He said no one ever told him the importance of education, the importance of high school, the importance of college. And he was right. He didn't know anything about why college, or even high school for that matter, was important. However, thankfully I, and many others do. I had a supportive family who, much like every family nowadays, wants their children to do better for themselves than the prior generation. My father missed out on an opportunity he would have taken and succeeded at had he just known such an opportunity existed. This leads me to my next point, why I chose to come to UMass Dartmouth. By now, some of you may have guessed that I came to UMass Dartmouth because I believe that UMass Dartmouth provided me and all of their students with the most opportunities to succeed. As I am just over a month away from graduating, I can firmly say that UMass Dartmouth has provided me with ample opportunities to succeed and grow as a leader, a student, and simply overall as a person. I visited 8 other colleges throughout my senior year of high school, and although some were larger, more expensive, and maybe a tiny bit more aesthetically appealing, something about UMass Dartmouth struck me at the time, and back then I just couldn't put a finger on it. I can firmly say now that it was a combination of the opportunities that I saw myself taking advantage of, the quality of the education I knew I would be receiving, and the value of my college experiences. I am glad to say here today that I would not have wanted to attend any other college. But my story is simply one of hundreds of thousands that shows how much generosity can impact a student's college experience. Every student in this room has goals, dreams, aspirations, and the donors in this room have helped each of these students get that much closer to accomplishing all of their dreams. As the cost of college continues to rise, along with student loan interest rates, the burden of attending college is weighing more on our generation than any other generation in the past. Every scholarship that is awarded to the students at UMass Dartmouth has effect far beyond just a smaller number on your coin account. It reduces stress, allows more time to be focused on studying than at work, and allows the student to take advantage of study abroad opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere, and every donor in the room and beyond gives students a new one every day with a generous donation. To the donors, your contributions go towards books, study abroad opportunities, minors, extra classes, and so much more. You have all helped potential next leaders of the world, the next engineer, the next artist, nurse, doctor, business owner, and much more. Thank you for aiding us in our journeys to achieve our goals. I know that my fellow colleagues and myself will be forever grateful for the scholarships received. I hope that one day every student in here will be able to look back on this moment and remember the opportunity given to you, as well as be fortunate enough to be able to provide opportunities to someone else in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Those were very good words. I don't know if I could top any of those stories that have been told today or shared experiences. We obviously have a very astounding group of students in the building today. So first of all, thank you all for attending and helping them with their education. I was just a couple years ago in their seats, the sophomore in civil and environmental engineering, not really knowing what path I was going to go down. I applied for a scholarship and thankfully won it, and it helped me decide exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And you can't ask for more than that, especially, it's one thing being a monetary amount, but getting you to that next level to allow you to discover what you truly want to do in life, that's essential. So on behalf of all the students in here, I would like to thank all the donors for coming today. One other tidbit I have is, since I'm an engineer, in the pamphlet that was on the seat of everyone's table, the engineering scholarships are recognized in there. They just didn't seem to highlight the name for the engineering scholarship, so I couldn't help but point that out. So you engineers, we are there, but in general, I'd just like to say that. Thank you all again, and have a great day. Okay, thanks so much.